Hey there, listeners. Cole here again. This is part 2 of our coverage of Stormveil Castle, which we are releasing as kind of a celebration of the new DLC announcement, Elden Ring's anniversary. It's a big time right now. So check out the previous episode if you didn't hear you didn't hear part 1. Please understand that there is possibly going to be some outdated information in here. We did record this sometime last May or so. We appreciate your forgiveness on that. This should give you an idea of what we sound like when we're talking about the game's legacy dungeons. And if you enjoy it, there are about 50 more, with more coming, 50 more episodes about Elden Ring over at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, in addition to just a whole bunch of other stuff. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
Well, who do we have here? Tarnished, are you? Clearly not one of Godrick's lot. I am Nefeli Lu. Tarnished and warrior, like you. I'm here by decree of my father. How utterly repellent this is. This grafting of Godrick's ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds. If you intend to challenge Godrick, I ask you call upon me. The winds run foul with his deeds. I'm certain father would permit me aid the fight.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat. It is a kind of like a settle down Beavis favorite.
A little bit. We got some settle down Beavis going on.
Yeah, we got a couple settle down Beavises showing up.
Do you want to clarify what that means for anybody who might just be tuning in?
Imagine a Beavis. Imagine a freestanding Beavis that needs to settle down.
Now rotate him in your mind just once.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. He's real agitated.
Zoom, enhance. I'm in. We left off at the courtyard of Stormveil. This is part 2 of our Stormveil episode. This is where we would enter, or where we'd get to eventually if we came in through the other way.
All roads are going to lead through this.
A big field that is well defended, just kind of packed with these exile warriors who are behind these shields, these portable kind of defenses, some of which have these dragon flame turrets there. The rest have crossbows.
They have flamethrowers.
Yeah. This area is full of tall grass. You can sneak through here.
Yeah.
You can also summon for this area if you need to. They know it's a bottleneck.
Yes. You can decide exactly how big of a fracas you want to turn this into.
Yes. When you get further into this, the other side of it, there's some action, but we can actually duck back into the house.
Yeah.
Here down into this larder in the corner that is useful and interesting before we continue.
Yeah. You go down here. It's real tucked away and seems like a regular kind of cellar, right? You've got some giant rats and stuff, but there is a sealed imp door here. You have to use a stone sword key to open this up. Somebody wanted to protect this, and we're going to see this is kind of the Havel moment to a certain degree. Somebody wanted an insurance plan against the gods.
Yeah. In content, like they wanted to protect. This is the second imp door. They wanted to protect their awful shield as well. Like there's but what's actually in here is interesting.
Yes.
When you get in, we find the Godslayer's seal. Seals are what you use to cast miracles in this game. And the Godskin prayer book.
Yeah. Godskin. I wonder what that's about.
It's literal. This is one of the major factions of the game. It is one that we are just now learning about.
Yes. So these are a whole bunch of apostles who worshipped the destined death and served under the dusk-eyed queen. But they harness the power of the black flame in order to kill people who are associated with the gods. Specifically, this is, kind of like meant to be like a very particular kind of nuclear fire that will wear the gods down specifically. It's very diminished. Like we get to see and use the black flame, but it is not as powerful as it could be. But it is still, not anything to sneeze at.
It gives you a damage over time effect that is not a status effect, which means you can't cure it.
Right.
And it happens to you and you can use it. It's not something it was designed to kill gods, but it'll kill anything just fine. We'll find out the Godskin apostles are trying to kill people who are pursuing any sort of godhood, including Elden Lordhood.
Yes.
As we'll find them when we see what places they tend to be guarding when we actually meet one in the flesh and the flesh that they're in.
Yeah, because they're not just killing them and skinning them. They are fashioning that skin into some of the most horrifying pieces of armor we've seen in a front game.
Some of the ugliest armor.
Oh yeah,
we've skinned. If you ever wondered why they don't make dresses out of faces, like it's not just for moral reasons. It's not on fleek.
Be a pretty bad dress. I mean, the faces got holes in them.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. As we mentioned, these serve destined death. We talked about the Dusk-Eyed Queen. The Dusk-Eyed Queen is one of several demigods we don't learn tons about in the game. We learn some stuff. It's not nothing, but this is one of the early allusions to there being, the central reveal of the cosmology of Elden Ring is that everyone who's here thinks that the Greater Will is the only game in town.
Yes.
And it never has been. It's just the most recent game we have. The Dusk-Eyed Queen is also a player. There's this whole cosmic chess game where the Land Between is being used as the board. And this is one of the players. We just happen to learn the most about the Greater Will.
Because it has really good PR, and recency bias.
Like literally.
Yeah.
It has a whole religion around it.
Yeah. Well, and also the kingdom, the kingdom of the Golden Order colonized all this stuff, imposed its rule. It is, as far as you can tell, the only option for religion in this place, because its symbol literally looms over the entire world and blots out the sun. I'm sorry, and replaces the sun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The idea of this being here is interesting because it's either that Godrick was hoarding god-killing stuff, similar to Havel. That would make a sense.
Yep.
The gods will come towards him. And when you don't know that the gods are kind of shitty, that sounds real bad.
Yeah.
And fits in really well with what we know of Godrick. Like, he's doing this conspiracy. This is one of the only things he did that was worth doing.
Oh, it's real sensible.
The apostles are not good, but the gods are also not good.
Yeah.
It's not ridiculous to have this stuff around.
And the Shattering was, it was a gigantic war, but remember, it was a succession war. So you end up with, all these proxies and stuff. But like at the end of the day, Godrick knows, I have a whole lot of like really powerful relatives who do not want me to have any claim at all to this power. They probably will come and kill me. And we're going to find the other people, the other actors from the Shattering itself, who didn't just hide among the peasantry and hide among the womenfolk, who just did acquit themselves well in the war, who are much better suited to just coming by and stomping Godrick. He knows he's outmatched, so this is the only advantage that he can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing here, just in reading about, and reading some of these, this is the first mention of Malekith that we've seen, who is America's like beast, almost like champion, right? Is the way that that Malekith is presented, like an enforcer. Yeah,
and it's going to be a minute before we learn too much more about Malekith.
Yeah.
Because this game is about hidden identities, we talked about D a few episodes ago. The person D sends you off to meet is related, but so it's another one of those things where you meet somebody who's important without knowing you did it.
Yes.
Which happens so often that it almost doesn't feel worth pointing out, except the fact that it happens so often that it's clearly important.
Yes.
To this, the idea of identities and wearing other skins, sometimes literally, is huge.
Yeah.
If you go to the back of the storeroom, you get out into this position where you can get this drop on the soldiers that are manning the ballistas, which is good. Gives you a more advantageous way to take out that courtyard.
Yeah.
There. And if you had just gone through that main gate where Godrick was, these guys had ballistas trained on you.
Yeah.
You can get through that. We talked about that last episode. This is much easier because you can take out the covering fire.
Yeah, those ballistas are no joke, even for really high-powered characters. They'll knock you down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you get back to Gastok. He doesn't own up to trapping you. He doesn't own up to stealing your souls, but he will sell you terrible items.
He's a Magikarp merchant, because if you don't kill him now, you eventually becomes a good merchant when he gets that item. But for now, he's just a shithead.
Yeah. The other detail here, there are tons of dead bodies stacked up on the inside of the gate. These are commoners. These are people who were shot in the back attempting to flee.
Yeah. Yeah. I assume these were tarnished who got in.
Oh, yeah.
Given that this is, they got to harvest those bodies from somewhere.
The fact that they're piled up against the inside of the gate, though.
Well, I think they were trying to get away.
No.
I think the Tarnished would try to get away as well. I just don't think that there's anything that would say they're deserters.
No.
Maybe.
I read them as deserters.
Yeah. No, who knows? Everyone else seems pretty loyal.
Yeah.
To the zone, for no reason.
Well, all the disloyal ones are dead. They're piled up against the inside of that gate.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And they're also not soldiers. They're commoners.
Yeah.
So they're not warriors. They're like the guys who in the rest of the castle just sit cross-legged and wait for you to pass.
Yeah.
So they can stab you in the back. Ghostics. Yeah. In the courtyard, you get to the other side of it. You can head towards the rear there. There's a little portrait studio off the side.
Yeah.
Where we can get a painting here called Prophecy. If you go to the place where that was painted on the Weeping Peninsula, you get the Warhawk ashes. We talked about those. Those are useful.
Now, we talked about those on a different podcast over on the Red Mage Cast. I like these things. This will summon one of those Warhawks, like a specific named one that performed a particularly heroic task. But this is good because a flying enemy against specifically a boss AIs don't really know what to do with flying enemies. So it's a great way to confuse them and give yourself a lot of wider openings.
I think the description for this one is where the detail that the birds are grafted.
Yes.
Explicitly. The only reason why that's really noteworthy is because we're going to run into a lion thing that has a sword tied to its arm that isn't quite grafting.
Yeah.
Like they use that as a term of art. There's also an omen here.
Yeah.
This a non-royal omen, what with the horns and stuff.
Yeah.
They're really tough.
Wow.
Just big fat dudes who do a lot of wrestling moves on you. Hit really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very difficult.
Yeah. Or it's hard to look at in terms of like hard to read in their silhouette, just because they are so, they're just malformed, right? Literally cursed and grown this way. And add on top of that, the fact that, if you were sneaking through or if you didn't deal with all of the banished folks at the front of the courtyard, they may join in the fight and be plunking you with crossbow bolts while you're trying to deal with this guy. You want to sneak past this guy. Dealing with him is not necessarily to your advantage right now.
He has a dog with him as well.
Yeah.
Which makes him hard because you have to take out the dog. He's not aggro right away. He's kind of just like sitting on his butt. In this courtyard, there's also a statue, one of the statues that has upgrade materials stuck in it.
Oh yeah.
He cannot smash it. You have to bring a troll here to do that.
So you have to do the one from up the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of a tricky puzzle. On my second playthrough, on the first playthrough, I didn't pay attention to those at all. I saw them, I was like, oh, I bet you that's interesting. And then they just disappeared from my brain.
Yeah.
In my second playthrough, I was like, oh, that was irresponsible of me. I need to see what's inside all of those turtle treasures. So I tried to get all of them.
Yeah.
And they're just upgrade materials. There's not a secret hidden in any of them I found. But this is one of the harder ones to get because you have to deal with that omen first in order to make it make sense to have the giant come down here to the courtyard. You don't really want to fighting both fronts.
I would not have thought that the troll's leash would be long enough to get down here, but
Yeah.
shows me.
He will come down. So when you get to the back of this courtyard, there's kind of a branched path with a site of grace. This is a good place to work from as we kind of poke out into a couple of different areas, either towards the end of the dungeon or as we're actually going to go down to this horrible secret under the castle.
Yeah, the source of these roots.
There's just a ledge here we can walk down. We go down here and we're in this kind of like ditch down here full of these broken statues. There are bats and rats down here that we'll fight, just kind of showing you that this is reclaimed a little bit
Yeah.
by pests. There's a dung beetle down here that will give you a spell called Rancor Call. It summons spirits, these like, evil skulls. There. And this is our first mention of Garrus, the necromancer who developed it and developed a lot of these death spells. We'll meet him later.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
We're going to fight him. He's a dude. And the lore around him, the fact that he's making spells like about his family and stuff, just a real stand-in for Pinwheel. I thought that was very...
it sounds very pinwheely.
Yeah. I thought that was neat. But you drop further and the broken statues give way to like full skeletons, dead people, broken bones, skulls. And the whole area has kind of been choked with roots and it's dark and misty. All of these are telltale signs that Deathroot is about.
Yes.
Also about
no
is one of the worst enemies. God, I hate these. I hate these ulcerated tree spirits. God.
They're really bad. I mean, we talked about them before. We're not going to talk about how shitty they are ever. I mean, we actually probably will. So buckle up for that. For the rest of the season, every time we run into these, we're going to say like they're really shitty.
They don't get better.
They don't get better. They get worse. And my specific bummer for this guy was when I first played the game before I had done my like research pass. My rhythm for these games is I go through the first time with as few spoilers as possible. I don't want to know anything. Then once I beat it once, I give myself license to look up whatever I want.
Yes.
Man's got to have a code. Despite my trying not to get any spoilers, I kept seeing reference to hidden boss of Stormveil.
Yeah.
After my first run through, because I didn't find this. And I was like, oh shit. Like, what is that going to be? Is that going to be like the old Storm Lord they've got in the basement? What kind of cool shit is that going to be? And then when I found out, it's just another iteration of this asshole. Like one of the worst bosses in the game. Fuck, man.
No.
It sucks.
Like, I get why it's here. Like, I understand why this would show up in a place polluted by Deathroot, right? This is literally, something akin to the avatars, right? That has been so corrupted that it becomes its own thing that desperately needs to settle down, Beavis.
Yes.
But yeah, to hear, I also, I didn't find this place the first time that I came through, had heard, okay, the secret beneath Stormveil. Yeah, I didn't have like a boss hyped up, but when I saw that it's just here, you have a free roaming one of these guys. I don't know, any one of these that I have to fight is too many. So
yes, agreed.
Yeah.
When you can run past him, you don't want to because there's stuff you can do on the other side of this, but you can just run.
Yeah.
Or you beat him, you get a golden seed, like all of them, or like most of them. The reason why you want to fight him is because when you get past him, there is a legitimate, like pretty jaw-dropping set piece.
Yeah.
All of this Deathroot, this big pile of Deathroot with a face growing out of it.
Yeah. Just kind of like, like roots prizing their way in through the through the corner at the bottom of a wall in a basement, right? Cracking in and then just exploding and lumping upward to a malformed face, humanoid face, into the foundation
Huge
here.
face.
Gigantic. It's room filling. The eyes, nose, and forehead are distinct. Like you can see them, like this is, a humanoid face, but the mouth instead is malformed. It's kind of melty. And it's spewing out these like death root tendrils. Like this is where the smaller roots are reaching out and prizing their way, into the castle. And notably, if you attack this thing, it bleeds.
Yeah. Wonderful. And when we were here, there's a couple other things of note. Like this is just great looking.
Yeah.
Really unsettling. Very designed for you not to know what the fuck this is, what's going on. There's a blood stain here. And this is a rare instance of an NPC in the game doing doing player stuff. It is a cinematic blood stain. This isn't a blood stain. This isn't another player. This is Rogier. When we see him get lifted up in the air and afflicted by this and dying. This is the same death that we get when we get the death fog.
Yeah, the death
Whatever
curse.
it's called.
Yeah,
death curse. Like the stuff that the worm faces that we'll run to later puke up. This will happen to us.
Yeah.
Kind of the equivalent of curse in this game. This is a quest step. You have to check out this blood stain because you have to be able to ask Rogier about it later.
Yeah, you have to ask what happened to him when you find him back at because by this point he'll be gone. He will have left that. There are a couple of different ways to get him to leave that chapel, but around this time you will have done one of them. But yeah, we want to be able to ask him because he is very concerned with the death root and specifically with the fate of Godwin. There's a body down here that has a seemingly useless item called the Death Prince's pustule. That has a very meaningful description.
It raises vitality.
Oh, does it?
Like it's a talisman.
Oh, I thought it was a consumable. Yeah.
No. It looks like it's going to be that, or just a key item that just is there for lore. You never know what's going to be a talisman.
Yeah, that's the thing
in this game. It's a talisman.
Here's a pro tip you might not have realized: when you pick up an item, there's a little icon in the upper right corner of the window there that will actually correspond to the icons in your inventory that says where you can find this. Boy, I really wish that in your inventory there was just a recent items bin that you could go to.
Me too.
Yeah, so that so you didn't have to spend the time hunting for the new stuff that you got. If you're doing the lore stuff like I am, like I want to get in there and see what the story is on this to try and get the pieces together. Going and hunting, sometimes it is unclear where something is going to be filed.
Yeah. Even if you sort them within that category by recently acquired, you still have to know the category.
Yes. But the description on this is pretty important. It says, "It is said that the pustule came from the visage of the Prince of Death, he who used to be called Godwin. As first dead of the demigods, it's said he's buried deep under the capital at the Erd Tree's roots." So this is associated with Godwin. His body is buried. Like, we know where his body is, according to this. Like, it's up under the capital, right?
Yes.
His body's accounted for. Why is his face here? Why is his root here? We're gonna find out why, but not find out exactly why, but like it makes a little bit of sense. This is kind of his castle,
Well, just the him being in the roots of the Erd Tree and the roots of the Erd Tree being everywhere. Like there is a element that he is changing this death root.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's almost like the vegetable gremlin.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Imagine if you open up a salad bar and the vegetables had formed themselves into the farmer. It's real scary. That's basically my read on what's happening.
It's funny, but I don't want to give you any. I don't want to give you anything because you're obviously very proud of this poll.
No, I love talking about gremlins. It's a perfect film. But like, imagine like if, you buried me and then a little tree grew out of the ground above my corpse and the tree looked like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the power of the first dead of the demigod influencing the world around it. Like he still has this power even as a corpse.
Yeah. And he's extending the death root to make his own kind of shadow network of the Erd Tree,
Yeah.
just as kind of a vessel for this, for this force, right? He is touched by the rune of death, and that is what is creating the death root, and trying to supplant the Erdtree's roots and things like that. Why is this the only one of the roots that ends up looking like a face, like he is here? All that I can think is this is a place that is dear to him. It was his dad's castle. He grew up here.
Yeah. Like when you find him,
yeah,
it looks real similar to this too.
Yes,
like where he's at. But I could see the dad's castle thing, even though his dad also lived in Lindell.
Yeah,
it's not just
Or he was trying to tell Godrick to maybe chill, maybe cool it for just a second. Hey, son,
100%. Like you're giving us a bad name.
Yeah, like we need to rip this castle down from the roots because my fuck up son is in here ruining the family name. Yeah.
I don't know if this is supported by text or anything, and this is a gut thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really ascribed the Godrick or the Godfrey hive mind root consciousness.
The Godwin, yeah.
Or the Godwin, rather.
Yeah, specifically because he lacks soul. Yeah.
Well, not just that, because I think that within the fiction, him being kind of tied up with this root system
mm-hmm.
and it emulating him, I don't think it's like
a conscious
doing
thing,
something on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's conscious. I think it's a force.
Yeah.
And part of that just because it's spookier to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm choosing it. But the idea of this force and this unhuman thing being a twisted mockery
mm-hmm.
of its host.
Yeah.
It just kind of works better for me.
Yeah. Or, like it could also be, when people in the Soul series go hollow, they continue trying to do the thing that they were used to doing.
Oh, absolutely.
So like he is not home, but there is still something about his essence. There is still something about this extension of him that wants to go home. Right. And so that is why this is here. In the episode about the Weeping Peninsula, when I was talking about the dead, walking up to the sea and then walking back, this is what I think that they're walking to. I think that the dead raised by the death root down there wants to get to this. The closest get to this closest, massive node of death root
from through the ocean.
I just think that I think that the dead who were called up on Weeping Peninsula, they're wanting to take the direct path, right? They're walking directly toward where Stormveil is. You can see it from the beach, but they're undead, so they can't get around. So they're just walking to the ocean and then, walking back.
I gotta pull the map up again.
Yeah.
And take a look. It doesn't feel like it lines up to me, but I'll trust you if you've looked at it more recently than I have.
Yeah.
I didn't think my thinking was on that beach and Weeping Peninsula was more kind of west facing.
Mm-hmm.
And Stormveil was like a lot more northward.
No, it's north facing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Well, dang. That makes a sense. The other undead convoy that I found is definitely walking towards Stormveil, but it is not walking beeline.
Yeah.
You can run into I think I mentioned this during the episode. You can run into a convoy of undead up in Caelid, walking in front of the church with the Tarnished Eater.
Yeah.
There, but they're just taking the road.
Yeah. Well, it's faster. They've got the road. They've got the straight shot.
Yeah, it's faster and above ground.
And possible. Yeah.
And possible. Yeah, faster and possible.
Fast. Possible. Yeah. This is the guarantee we offer.
Yeah. So this is a big deal. You take this ladder at the end of this and get up to the kitchen here. You're not original if you make snake soapstone messages. The first time that happened, it was kind of fun, but you're done.
Yeah.
Stop.
No. If you've seen somebody else do the joke, you do not have license to do the joke anymore.
Yep. That means it's already been done infinite times.
Yeah.
When you go back to the lift side chamber of grace here, there's a lift that'll take you up to this area with these warrior jars here. There's a big warrior jar in the back who's kind of hidden by shadows. This is this game's mimic, as we mentioned. They're just jars. They're real sweet. You're going to find a bunch of messages around that say, "Don't you dare." Those messages are okay.
Yep.
And as you pass this way through this kind of like little channel through there, this will actually take us back towards the boss chamber.
Yes.
Here.
This is
we can pop in here and fight the boss if we'd like.
Yeah, this is a back way to it, though you want to take the other way because you're going to get an NPC who ends up having their own quest line and will offer you assistance against Godrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting in her own right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some paths that like from here that will take you down around to the secret under there. But the main path is across from the lift side chamber down there that is lined with the hawks. There are tons of them there. But you hear somebody talking from a room off to the right as you're going. And as you walk in, there's this warrior woman kind of mourning, speaking to the dead body of this banished knight who she recently vanquished, saying, "Oh, your only wrongdoing was your choice of master. Let the winds lift you to a higher place." So this is a person who does not kill lightly, A. B, they're associated with this land. The fact that she is venerating the winds means that she is of this place. We talked to her, and this is somebody who is named Nefeli Lu, the same surname as Hora Lu, one of the tarnished champions from the intro.
Yes.
The chieftain of the Badlands.
She is a barbarian coded lady, and talking to her, like, she's gonna be very interesting. We're gonna get a lot of things with her. She's here on a mission. She's an agent. When you talk to her, she says she's here by decree of her father, but we don't know who her father is yet.
Yeah.
And she was happy to come here because Godrick is shitting on her homeland.
Yeah.
The grafting is disgusting. He's tainted these winds. If you're here to kill him, call on me. Like, I would love to help, and I'm sure my father would permit it. So the characterization we're getting here, very much obedient to her father at this point. She's going to go on a little arc at this point, and very tied to the past. The idea of still venerating the winds here, it's been a real long time.
Extremely
since the war
long.
with the Storm Lords.
Yeah.
Maybe give this up. When you there's also once you talk to her, you can then summon her. A little trick that I did on the first playthrough was you go talk to her and then you summon her and go clear out areas you haven't fucked with yet.
She's more than up to it.
Yep, she's great. She will clear that courtyard for you. If you want to lure that troll back to blow up in that treasure cache, she can help you take out that Omen Knight.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. I would not have thought to do that, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. She's great. Very useful. And the nice thing about summoning a boss summon to clear a level, if you can do that, is that if they die, you just rest at a bonfire and summon them again. There's no consequence.
You can refresh them.
Yep. There's no timer. It's not like your summons where they only work for certain areas. Like she'll just hang out.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky to get her to go up and down elevators with you, but she will do it. So
yeah, I would not have thought to try that. It's cool that works.
It's a cool pro tip for you.
But beyond her room, there's a troll that is standing guarding the stairway. And there's that site of grace that we got to by taking the back way around. I love the way that they have mostly eliminated boss runs in this is a very welcome change, especially for ease of use.
It makes the times where they still have it infuriating.
Baffling at the very least.
Like we talked about reference Red Mage Cast earlier. We just talked about that. And there is a hidden optional super boss in the game that I still have not beat, that I'm hanging on to, who has a really obnoxious boss run. It's not difficult to get past the enemies, but it's long and requires platforming. And then there's a cutscene that you have to watch. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
They should never have done that.
No, they're not doing themselves favors with that.
Yes. Yeah. Enough of that stuff. This one, you just walk out and go into the boss arena. And when this is our introduction to the man of the hour, Godrick the Grafted.
Well. Plain as a lord. I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that
so excited after all the shit that we talked about this guy.
Yeah. He doesn't disappoint in terms, I mean, he disappoints his parents and disappoints everyone around him, but he doesn't disappoint in terms of, a fight or the cool cutscenes and shit that happen here.
Oh yeah, the crapulence.
Yeah, the performance, the crapulence of the performance is very good.
Oh my God, what an insecure man.
I love it. I love the reveal of him. This stooped figure who looks like he's just, very wide. And then he takes off his cloak and you get to see that he's...
Give me something in a wide man. Give me something in a wide
man. Oh no, wide with arms.
Uh-huh.
When you come in, we get this cutscene. It's in this little graveyard. The feel, FromSoft is a little free with their graveyards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it, but there's not always a lot of logic to where graveyards are placed.
I think that there should be a little bit more, structure to how the zoning laws work on these.
There's no, or like how many graves you can put on top of one another.
True.
It's very funny that in the dungeon ecology of this castle, if you want to go from the fortress section to the throne room, you have to walk through the crumbling graveyard. To get there.
Maybe as a ruler, it keeps you mindful. It's a memento mori.
It's silly that every castle does it though, because you also have to walk through a big graveyard in Rea Lucaria, and that's a fucking school. I think it's just from being a little copy paste with graves.
Yeah, maybe
because they look great and it's cool.
Of course,
So, I'm not going to give them credit for this.
Yeah,
personally.
But in the middle of this graveyard is this dragon. That's a dragon that has been skewered onto an obelisk, kind of a memorial here, and this cloaked figure is kind of hunched over. It's hard to get a sense of how big he is at this point, though he is obviously quite wide. And he is he's speaking to the dragon, saying, "Mighty dragon, thou art a true-born heir. Lend me in thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights." He has a lot of respect for dragons, and given what we know about dragons and what worshiping them does, this guy is just looking for power.
Well, I mean, there's that. There's also, there was a dragon that was an Elden Lord. Mm-hmm. This is also part of his simping for legitimate authority.
Yeah,
in this world,
mm-hmm.
like this respect for dragons. It's like he doesn't go through. There's a very prescribed path for getting dragon pilled in this. He's taking a more direct path.
Yeah, he's doing his own version of this, which it will happen in phase 2. When all you've got is a crafting knife, every problem seems to be solved with crafting. Yeah.
You go down to the craft services table and take care of it. Him speaking in this kind of old English speak also lends that sense of affectation for him. Like
methinks the lady is horny for my fedora.
There's a little miladying to this guy. Like a lot of people speak in that kind of thing, but he really turns it up.
That's pompous. Like this guy, pompous. The weapon arts attached to the items that you get from his remembrance are, bow before me and behold.
I love it so much. So he when he sees you, he turns and picks up his axe, and we see him as like a grotesque parody, of Godfrey. Like he has this braided hair, similar, same color and everything, but he looks sick.
He's got this weathered face, sunken eyes, like purple patches on his skin.
Yeah, very corpsey, as if your body was rejecting the multiple arms you added to it. And that's what's happening. They show his arms. His arms are really fucked up. He throws off his cloak, and there's a lot more arms. Arms, legs, shoulders, all these things kind of just attached to him that are animate, but again, sickly.
Yeah.
It's really striking and cool.
How many arms does one person, like they're not doing anything. It's not useful to you. All it's done is just added to mass.
It does make you a monster in a Resident Evil kind of way.
True. Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Like, him being like, this will give me more power reminds me of somebody injecting themselves with the T virus or the G virus.
Yeah. It's like he's a plastic surgery addict.
Yeah.
And I only say that like half in jest, but like there's something totemic about pursuing this. Like literally, I am incorporating their strength into me, kind of without regard to, what it is actually doing to his form. He doesn't necessarily care as long as he can appear powerful. Yeah.
That also a sub theme of the game, that idea of literally taking on the physical body of something. That's what the jars do.
Yeah.
In order to gain its power.
Yes.
And we get this fight, which very similar to, for me, to the Margit fight, is something that I grew to really like.
Yes.
He does use his extra arms sometimes in that because it wouldn't be Elden Ring if everything didn't roll around like Sonic.
Yeah.
And he uses his arms for that, which I really love.
Yeah, that's a part of him being way more nimble than you would expect him to be given his girth, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, he's big. He's pretty fast. He has wind powers because he's in Stormveil and he has the weapon art or whatever.
Well, he's descended from Godfrey, right? Who probably incorporated the storm powers at some point.
Yeah. I mean, we run into, it's possible for sure that he did so. I just assume that he found an axe.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He fights with
no
a
joke. Like it sounds like a joke, but I think that he's not that thoughtful.
That makes sense. Yeah. He uses it very naturally. It is an extension of the way he moves and attacks, which is, again, part of his deceptive nature. Like, he has way more reach than you would expect him to, even with his gigantic axe.
These axe combos are relatively easy to dodge. The tricky thing, the thing that I think this boss, one of the things I think is teaching you is jumping as a defensive thing. It's not as central as it is in Sekiro, and there isn't a specific tutorial for it, but he does these ground pounds a lot that will escalate in complexity the number of times he does it, and they're totally obviated by jumping. It's like the easiest thing you can do. They end up being huge openings for him once you figure out that, like, I don't have to create distance. It's not an AoE.
Yeah.
It's a ground attack.
Yeah. So like, I don't have to, I'm denying myself opportunities by moving away. I can actually use this as a way to get in while he is otherwise busy. Yeah.
I love it when he does the Sonic roll and does the big slam on you. It's a huge opportunity to get in damage. And it just looks really cool. The wind like whips up around him, to make it more powerful.
Yeah.
There. We mentioned before you can have Nefeli Lu with you. She'll do great for this. She's very helpful. She can't like solo the boss or anything like that. You have to team up.
No.
But she can help a lot.
Yeah. His AoEs are too much for her. Yeah.
He has a second phase and the transition's incredible.
I love it so much.
He starts screaming. And it's kind of hard depending on the angle because you're still fighting him at this point. It's not a cutscene.
This action starts before the cutscene comes in, so it's tough to figure out what you've done or what he is attempting to do.
I didn't know what he was doing. He's just like kind of whining. I thought I just staggered him, right? So you get in front of him, and then you see that he's cut off his arm.
Yeah,
he slams the axe on himself.
Through the process of the fight, his left arm has become useless to him. Just again, if all you've got is grafting, we're going to cut this bad limb off. And, what's the nearest thing to me? Well, let's rip off this dragon head and pop that bad boy on there. And boom, we have a new limb. And yes, he has dragon powers now. He can do flame stuff.
It's stolen valor, like in a literal sense. And he's still just as pompous. In the world of Elden Ring, where there's like, being a warrior has honor and, there's lip service paid to like, oh, you've trained and you've never known defeat. There's a little bit of that, like shonen anime, lives only to fight.
Yes.
Kind of stuff in this series that is never my favorite thing. But I accept that is part of the values of this world. Within the values of this world, there's nothing more pathetic than just having something else fight for you by sticking it on you like this. It's a huge pitiable action.
And Godrick's story is all about shortcuts, right?
Like, shit.
Yeah. It's just, okay, dragons are cool. Dragons are powerful. How can I be like them other than to literally put one of them onto me to make, to make them a part of me, And that has been his approach to everything. Yeah. I like how that is how that is rolled in. And it does become a part of him. So, as much as the wind powers were a natural extension of him, the flame incorporates into that quite nicely. All of a sudden, all of his wind attacks have a flame aspect to them now.
They're both. Like, wind isn't an elemental thing that you can guard against in this game, but flame is.
Yes.
He also does an attack that I don't think this boss is that hard, but I'm embarrassed to admit how long it took me to figure out how to deal with this. Where he just slow walks towards you, whipping his flamethrower back and forth.
Yeah.
It felt like if I was caught on the wrong side of this, I was just kind of fucked. And I eventually learned like the trick is to not get caught on the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
Like when he'll always do this at the beginning of his second phase, and you can make distance. You run back up to the beginning of the arena, but from then on, I need to be close enough that I can always get behind him if he starts doing this.
Yeah.
It's very easy for this to stun lock you if you get caught in the middle of it.
Yeah, because the sweep is just so slow that it's gonna, it'll damage you continuously. Because there's not that much of a way to get around it. If he can get outside the arc, he's committed to the sweep that he does. And it's an opening. You just have to hope he doesn't do the big gout of flame, kind of like wedge attack in the area in front of him as you get up close as a follow up. You also have to really hope that the dragon jaws don't get you, because that that's instant death if it happens. At least it was for me.
Yeah, he's got a grab where the jaws grab you and he sets you on fire.
Yeah,
while you're in the jaws, it hurts a lot. But eventually you can take him down. I think he's a little easier than Margit.
Yeah.
In terms of moveset, like substantially easier than Margit, actually, which is an interesting choice again. But that's because they're teaching you different things. You can level up versus, hey, you should jump as well.
Yeah.
And when he dies, he does something I was thinking about, the way that he kind of begs and he's a figure of pathos in the end. Contrast him with Mikolash. For bosses that have dialogue. Mikolash is a pathetic figure as well, who is not like a good person by any means, but still, for us at least, managed to elicit sympathy.
Yeah.
Just through pure, when I say pathos, I mean the literal definition, like being pathetic.
Yeah.
Through that. He doesn't get that. Godrick doesn't get this, and the game bends over backwards to make sure he doesn't.
Oh yeah, no.
When he dies and says like, someday we will bathe. I am the Lord of all that is golden.
Yep.
It's just like, it's huge. I am convincing myself of something. Mikolash, when he dies, he recognizes.
He admits there's nothing for him outside of the dream. If he wakes up, it's all gone.
It's all ruined. Even in his last breath, Godrick won't do that.
Yeah.
He's still insisting, like, if I say loud enough that I am Godfrey, I am then it will be true.
Yeah. It is nothing that you do, not even this defeat, not even the things that I've done to myself, will divert this adulation, the status that is due to me from coming to me. You and everybody else are irrelevant to the fact of my parentage, which is enough for me. Yeah.
And compare him, not just, so you can compare him to Mikolash within the series. The other mandatory boss we fought is Margit, who, when you beat him, takes you seriously.
Yes.
Godrick doesn't. His only move is to keep talking.
Yeah.
It's like Heisenberg. Godrick, tell me one more fucking time that you did it all for family.
Say it one more time. Oh man, what a piece of shit. I'm glad he's gone. And I'm glad his body gets pissed on.
just an incredible, FromSoft has never hated anyone more than this guy.
Yeah.
When you beat him, you get his Great Rune. We talked about those mechanically.
Yes.
It's kind of rings you have to pay a resource to keep them on there, but you do have to activate them. It's not activated at first. We'll talk about that. I think it's probably a good place to wrap up this episode when we get there.
Yeah, I think so.
But we also get his soul. These are called remembrances.
Yeah.
In this, you can get a bunch of runes, and you can take them to a specific blacksmith who we'll meet next episode to get special weapons or spells. the choice around this is a lot easier because you can copy them.
Yeah, you've got the turtle kinkos.
Yes. Like I don't feel bad about consuming these for souls if I need them.
Right.
You know, if a couple extra levels would be better for me than having both these things, I'll do it.
Yeah. Also, all of the items on them tend to be really specific as well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So not going to work for all your builds. Specifically, it takes a long time until you start finding a dex weapon.
Yeah.
From these.
But you read his remembrance, and it calls him a feeble man, sought power through the grotesque act of crafting. One day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold. He's not talking about Stormveil. You kind of get the sense he hates there. He hates it there. He wants to be at the seat of the Erd Tree. He wants to be in Lendel, the place that he had to flee from.
Yeah. Shit rolls downhill. Like the same thing that happened to him is what he did to Edgar and Morn.
Yeah.
You know, installed him in this this kind of satellite state. When you look at the stuff you can get from him, they're named after the weapon arts are named after his sayings.
Command thee kneel.
Yeah, you can do the earthquake thing where you pound it through. It's called I command thee kneel, or you can get the dragon fist, the dragon arm, which gives you bear witness, which allows you to do the fire attack.
Yeah, love it. Never found a use for either of them, but again, I like the characterization. Give me anything that negs him, including what happens if you reload the area. Gastok, who served under Godrick, and draw the conclusion he probably wasn't very good to his commoners. Godrick is here stomping on. I mean, it is implied to be what like the meager remains of Godrick. He is there ranting about how pathetic Godrick was. Gastok wants to be free.
Yeah, big quitting.
Yeah.
Telling off your boss energy here. Past this, there's a throne room here. It's very simple. It's barely adorned. What's interesting is content was patched into this. When you first go here, you get the little round table hold symbol that's like you can't attack here.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for this.
Yeah.
For up until patch like 103, when they added the end of Nefeli Lu's quest line.
Yes. Yeah.
As is, it was just a weird spot you could walk through.
Yeah. It's literally just a vestibule to Liurnia, which is behind there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you, in the back of this, through here, there are them crypts you can go down into and talk to one of the forlorn spirits.
Yeah. I laughed out loud when I saw what it said. It says, "Maiden, dear maiden, where are you? Please take my grapes."
That's my wets.
All my grapes gone.
Yeah. Kidnapped all my grapes.
And there is the first of the Shiburi grapes that we find nearby. This is the unburst eye of somebody who was afflicted with the frenzied flame, and it says, "Give it to the blind maiden to guide her to the distant light." We're going to find a use for that at the beginning of Liurnia, which we can get to out the back here.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit when we talked about Edgar and Irina.
Yes.
And it's also, we talked about this before, but it's worth mentioning, you don't have to go through this to get to Liurnia. Nope. There's that side path. This is just the proper path. So technically an optional boss.
Is it? Everything that I've seen looking up implies that you have to defeat Godrick to get through.
You have to defeat, what I saw was 2.
Yes.
2 bosses. And you have access to more than 2 bosses without defeating Godrick.
Yes.
Godrick does not seem to gatekeep anything.
Yeah.
So I have not seen that.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't, but I don't think that he's technically mandatory. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can do, we know their names. I'm not sure if you can do Renala and Radon, and get the lift to go, but
I know you can do them first.
Yeah.
And you also don't need to get the lift to go.
True.
To move on. So I'm actually like pretty sure this guy is optional.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just the lift. You also, when you get to the base of the Erd Tree. Yeah. I think this is just one of those things. I've not specifically tested what will open that. And the information that I found has been contradictory.
Yeah. It's worth looking up. Before we continue this, the last thing we're going to do here is in that courtyard the very beginning with the ballistas, there is a path off to the side of that.
Yes. There's a path we didn't take because the end of it would have been blocked off to us. Now that we have the Great Rune, a door at the end of this will open. But
Yes.
if you thought like, hey, why didn't you guys talk about the Lion Guardian? That guy sucks. Well, now we're going to talk about it because it's here.
He does suck. He's a Beavis whom needs to settle down.
Yeah.
I hate fighting these things. It feels like you're not meant to.
A little bit.
Like a lot of times they're so this guy is in an area where we can run past him into the ceremonial chamber where there's a site of grace, but he can't get through the final set of doors. A lot of times when you run into them, you're up on ramparts and they are down in the middle of a courtyard.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like you're supposed to fight these things fair.
No.
To me. And I hate fighting them fair because they don't have cooldowns.
No.
Really. Like it's one of those things where when FromSoft games are badly tuned, one of the most frequent potholes I think they step in is just giving enemies too much stamina.
Yeah.
These guys have so much stamina.
Wow.
It's a big lion with a sword tied to its arm.
Now I understand all those people who get mad at PvP, like who get really angry when people are one spam. These things just are one spam, don't they?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, it's the same, like a lot of enemies in this, like the ones that are, that's essentially what the ulcerated tree spirits are doing.
Yeah.
It's just their R1 is like a little boogie.
it's a little boogie that may or may not also do a mostly instant death grab attack. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fire scoot that might instant death you. I don't, in my wildest dream, I can't even, it's hard to describe these things move sets because they're just jumping at you and flailing wildly.
Yeah.
It looks like noise.
Yeah.
To me.
Mm-hmm.
Too fast.
Doesn't work. Yeah. But this will drop an old fang. This is a crafting item. I like the description on this because, again, drawing a distinction between beast and beast, lowercase b versus capital B. These multiple overlapping fangs grow from a single root. Perhaps they're a vestige of the primordial crucible. There's a special kind of beast that we're going to be running into.
Yeah. And it makes sense for this guy because he kind of looks a little bit like the Misbegotten, which are crucible-touched monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not demi-humans, just evil little creepy critters.
Not evil.
Well, this guy's evil.
Well, okay.
Like
he stuck around with Godrick, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Those harpies that were just in Morn were, I guess they were subjugated.
Yeah,
they're pretty evil.
that's the thing. Yeah.
And they also were enslaving those miners.
True.
So they just got to the top of the food chain and just became just as evil.
Hey, and is somebody culpable for committing or participating in a cycle of violence?
Why I see you criticize Castle more and you participate in it. How interesting. When you get past this guy, this is our first divine tower.
Yes.
A recurring game element. These are all over the fucking place in terms of how important they are and what kind of gameplay there is.
Yeah.
The lore community has lost their fucking mind about divine towers.
Yeah, to a certain degree.
It's interesting because it's like, it's not that I don't think that they're important, but I think that the importance of them is really overstated.
Yeah.
So much so that people draw them are literally doing, maps with threads and DAX to find where they all meet. And when were they built? Like trying to get them down to specifics.
Yeah.
The fact that some of these are dungeons, some of them are hidden and you just teleport to them. They feel really catch as catch can to me.
Yeah.
The fact that for the one that you use for Melania, you have to just teleport to it from almost a random place.
Yeah.
To get there, it does not feel like there is as much meaning or meaning in the ways that people think there is meaning to them, to me.
Yeah, no, it's the fact that there is very little commonality, even in what is found at the top of them, makes it hard for me to immediately get a reckon on what's going on here, which makes the fact that they've been latched onto as this potentially potent vein for answers, kind of strange, because it does feel like this feels a little bit like the Wandering Mausoleums insofar as like it serves mostly a gameplay purpose to me. When I look at it, like, oh yeah, this is a place where you go to activate those runes. Okay.
Yeah. It's somewhere between those two things.
Yeah.
For me, like it's definitely, we're going to run into ones that are guarded, by Godskin nobles. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Right. Like they do not want you to charge up your rune and get anywhere closer to any kind of divinity.
Yeah.
There. This one is just guarded by, one of these golems.
A bunch of these golems. It's like 3 at once you have to fight.
Yeah, several of these golems, which they're just set up like they don't have a faction that is clear. They're set up to guard things, but like if a Godskin apostle is guarding something and one of these golems is guarding something, it gets harder to nail it down. Like it ends up feeling a little bit more inconsistent.
It ends up being, so I mean, it's not just the 3 that you fight here on this bridge that are there. There are multiple dead ones here as well. Who would be motivated? I feel like I'm talking like Q here. I don't know the answers to this. I'm not trying to like guide you to a conclusion that I've already got. This is literally just I have no idea who would have put these dumb instruments here, to try and keep you away from what is at the top of this. Godrick knows if you have his rune, he's already dead. Why would he be trying to stop you, right? No idea.
It's a thing too where FromSoft will do a thing sometimes where they will make gameplay considerations later that muddy up water. So like maybe at one point in this game, these golems only guarded areas where it would make sense.
Yeah.
And then they needed a boss for that one catacomb.
Right.
And they just like threw them in there. Like one of the things that has always been a consistent frustration to me and the Soulsborne lore community is the not allowing for the idea that anything can be arbitrary.
Yeah.
And I get that's part of the fun for some people. I really do think that From makes those arbitrary decisions, leaves in things from previous drafts and such in order to create this kind of air of mystery that supports like the fun end part of guessing around this stuff. But I do think that a lot of things there just isn't a textual.
Yeah.
It's not an equation.
And part of analyzing these games for me anyway is kind of knowing when to unlatch and stop shaking the squirrel.
Yes.
Like, okay, squirrel's dead. I need to move on to something else.
Yeah, there are a lot of squirrels. Like there are a lot of things to chew on, and some of them you can just chew forever. Yeah, and not get there.
And if there is an answer there, I hope people find them. That's just yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like the kind of answer. There are answers that lower kind of issues in Soulsborne games that happen question first, and ones that come answer first.
Right.
So to me, the goal of figuring out the Divine Towers isn't to what could plausibly contain all these things.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge to see if I can come up with a sentence that just includes all the stuff. Because you could come up with a hypothetical for almost anything.
Yeah.
If you add enough of your own stuff, you can make anything. It's finding something that feels in the spirit and that is supported by the text.
Yeah.
And makes sense and also seems worth doing.
That last one is the big one, because to me, much less interesting than like a grand purpose of all of these towers together is, that is less cool than, to me, the temptation of the answer behind what does each of these towers contain of the person whose Great Rune they activate. Just like why is the benediction, why is the power separated from from these the people who carry the shards, right? We're going to find different things at the top of them. Like, what does that speak to about their different conditions, right? That to me is, way more important because it reflects on the characters as opposed to the world. And that speaks to my own particular biases as a character first person, as opposed to a world building Bible kind of deal.
Or just a person who is emotional truth before literal truth.
True.
Like we're not trying to solve these equations and know what the right thing is. that's not very interesting.
Yeah.
It's more about what is, I trust this developer enough to be working with theming and emotion and ideas more than just a literal plot where once you get the timeline in order, it's just a complete sentence.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't really think that's of interest to them. And I'm always surprised that's of such interest to fans. But it really is. And these towers really show that. And like more than just even them having the different things, like one of them's a straight up, like really interesting, but really fucking weird dungeon.
Yeah.
That you go into. And once I found that, I was like, oh, like they're all going to be like that. No. I was like, where do you find the interior space of this one? You don't. You get past the golems, you ride a very long elevator. The bridge is actually broken here. Yeah. So we have to take a way gate here. That just felt like if that reflects on Godrick, it's just Godrick being more shitty. They have to patch it up. The shocking thing is you get to the top and there are 2 dead fingers or a dead 2 fingers.
There we go. Yeah.
Here.
It is a singular creature. They're joined at the finger crotch, and in the finger crotch is the glowing power, the rune that is hanging there in the air that will activate your Great Rune. That'll make it equipable.
This Great Rune is incredible.
Oh, it's so good.
It's 5 extra levels. For every stat.
Wildly,
that's
wildly
nuts.
powerful.
Yeah. It's so much so that it kind of feels like a trap. Like you can make your build where you need to have this on.
Yeah. In order to use a particular spell. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and then I died and I forgot that I hadn't reactivated my Great Rune. Just, it's not that interesting. Like, but they gave you a very powerful, simple one right in the beginning.
Yeah. And one that remains useful throughout the rest of the game. I mean, this was my primary rune just because it is so generally applicable. Whereas the other ones that you find are going to be either specifically for a particular gameplay mechanic, or very particular in how they're going to be used, like in a combat kind of scenario.
Yeah. Something that's worth, not to like specifically respond to this person on the Patreon, but something that is an idea worth engaging with, and we didn't talk about it before because it didn't show up until now, is that when we talked about the 3 fingers a little bit, we talked about that being a mockery. Several people were like, I always read it as that just it all being part of the hand, like the 3 fingers were separated from the 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And they're all part of a hand. To me, the reason why I don't believe that is because there are so many instances of the 2 fingers.
Yes.
This is the first we actually run into, but spoilers, there are more.
Yeah. This was the first that I ran into. I didn't find the ones that were alive until after this. So when I walked to the top and this thing that was spoken about as if it was God was dead. That's a bit of a moment. Yeah. I found the other ones first because of that fucking lion. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, oh, fuck this. And then I just went and did other stuff for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are multiple copies of this. Also in item depictions of the 2 fingers, they have legs sometimes. I don't think it's literally a hand. Sometimes they're like 2/5 of a hamburger helper kind of guy.
The other thing, that is a good idea. The 3 would be remaining, like what is left behind after the 2 fingers ascend. But we see lots of hands that have way more than 2 fingers on them as well. There's nothing, or that we see lots of hands that have way more than 5 fingers. There's nothing saying that whatever this is, that 5 fingers would be the total that would remain. Yeah. So that's part of what makes me like a little bit reticent to embrace that theory whole cloth, or wholeheartedly, let's say. Although I do, that didn't occur to me, and I appreciate the cleverness behind it.
It occurred to me, and then I eventually was like, nah, that is cool, but I don't think that's what it is. We didn't even talk about this. Godrick has 6 fingers as well.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know if you can see enough detail to know if like he's literally just grafted on like double pinky, or if he just had 6 fingers.
Yeah.
Cause he might.
Yeah, it's possible.
But
He could be a Hemingway
wouldn't-
demigod.
Yeah.
You could have polydactyly.
If I had an extra pinky, it would be entirely an inconvenience.
Oh yeah.
I would gain no more power, and I would have a harder time resting my hands.
But imagine the guitar solos, Gary.
Yeah, that's true. I could really shred.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I can barely shred at all.
You play keyboard. I mean, just imagine the chords that you can make if you had an extra finger.
Yeah. Everyone's playing sixths and diminished sixths. But what about diminished 6/7? You know?
Get that octave reach in, you know?
Just really dissonant and ugly.
Yeah, but this is how you get the power. This is how you have activated your first of the Great Runes, the first of your shards of the Elden Ring. And there are more answers awaiting us because a door is opened in Roundtable Hold, but that is where we're going to have to leave it.
Yeah. So next episode is going to be our response episode.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Stormveil, Godrick, all this stuff. And then after that, we will go back to Roundtable. We will do the beginning of Liurnia, meet some new NPCs.
Yeah.
And start our quest into the swamp.
Mm-hmm. Heading toward the vaunted academy, Raya Lucaria, seeing why they kicked all them mages out.
Yeah. Also a really great legacy dungeon.
So good.
All of them are good except for one. We're very spoiled.
Yes.
For those things. This timed out about right. I think that we can probably expect the legacy dungeons to be two-parters.
Yeah.
From here on out. And then with things like Shaded Castle or what have you being like one-parter plus surrounding area.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Those dominate a region so much that it makes sense to, put those in the regional episodes.
It's also a bigger castle. Like it's bigger than Morn.
Yes.
It's not a fort, but it's bigger than Morn. There are a couple of like in-betweenies.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. Keep an eye out for that post. We'll be putting up a post if you have thoughts about Stormveil and want your stuff read on the listener response episode.
It's possible that we may be the deadline has passed just because of recording ahead and stuff. So
yeah, by the time you hear this specifically, but hopefully you read. And if that did pass, keep an eye out for future ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you know the rhythm when we're coming up on Liurnia. If you have things to say, when to start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're getting this, you also get the alert when the post goes up. So
yeah. Anything else?
Not that I can think of other than ratings or reviews if you can, and telling your friends. All of that is welcome, and I would say necessary. If not necessary, then appreciate it. Very appreciated. Yeah. I think it's necessary. Yeah, and check out the other shows. Please do. Yeah. We think they're good and worthwhile. They're not for everybody, but you should at least give them a shot. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking, they went weekly, but that is not that is not enough. I want more game content and stuff. Watch out for Fireballs is there for you. There's lots of other stuff there. Until next time, what should they do? Just try and be better than Godrick. It's a low bar, but you got to start somewhere. And we all pray that we will have far more soon